Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast, where Polar interviews people so you can do more investing and less gambling.
It's great that you are investing in crypto. I'm also doing it, but why do you think people actually should invest in crypto than in anything else?
I don't necessarily think you should do it more than anything else in general. I do think you're going to get a lot more for your money long term if you get into the right cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin or others. I do also advise precious metals right now. I mean, we're about to see a massive global recession. The markets are bearish. You know, the inflation rates are going to get a lot worse. The governments are not really for us. They're against us, and they're printing so much money, and they're raising inflation through the freaking ceiling. So it's going to get pretty crazy pretty soon. Now, the best thing you can do to protect yourself is diversify. You want hardcore assets that are going to stand the test of time as a store of value. And I do think certain cryptocurrencies will stand that test. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Crypto could technically go to zero tomorrow. But I do think in the last 4 years particularly, so much of the groundwork that has been needed to be implemented and built has now been built in the space. And because that's now there, and a lot of financial markets and even retailers are ready to start onboarding crypto payments, for example, like you can't. Rome wasn't built in a day. The concept of crypto is amazing, but without the facilities the services and the requirements and foundations to facilitate payments and onboarding of crypto assets to the real world, it takes time. But you've seen so much so quickly over the last few years because so many people, so many genius people that I've met in the space, everyone's come into this one area, and in a lot of ways it is decentralized from government. So you are seeing so many incredible people coming into this space and just building and building and building until we get it right. And a lot of the protocols you're seeing coming out and all sorts of things are just getting so crazy and so financially freeing that I just think you cannot just sit on your dollars or your pounds and think, yeah, if I just put £1,000 away a month, long term I'm going to be rich. Long term, you're not really going to be rich. You won't even own your own house. I mean, a lot of people think you own your house when you buy it, right? Well, if you go and annoy the government, they're going to sign a piece of paper and your house is no longer even your house anymore. So you need to diversify. You need to really start looking at hardcore assets over a long period of time and start planning for the future, because the pound and the dollar, they're not going to stand the test of time. Something else will, and I do think that is crypto. But again, that's just me.
Yeah, and also me. So like you just mentioned, the current market situation is very, very bad and very bearish on all, like in everywhere. Actually, it's not only crypto, it's stock market, it's the food market, it's the fuel market, it's everywhere. Like there is a lot of fear actually. So
yeah, for sure.
What do you think is the best thing a person to do in such markets, in such bear markets?
Well, you know what they say. They say, be greedy while others are fearful. And the amount of fear we're now seeing is through the roof, right? But again, it just comes down to everybody's individual circumstances. You can't expect someone who's, is going paycheck to paycheck to be able to just splurge money they don't have in crypto on the bet that it's going to go up now. I mean, I do think in the next 6 months, we will see a big bullish reversal and then things are going to go crazy, right? But you can't guarantee that. So for me, it even comes down to what part of crypto you're looking into. So if you're just looking to accumulate a hardcore asset like Bitcoin, then DCAing, like I said earlier, dollar cost average your way in, that's probably your best bet. If you're in DeFi like I am, then I always say look for the projects and the protocols that are doing okay in the bear market and haven't been fleeced or scared away. So many projects died when the bull run ended suddenly and crashed, and the recession started to kick in. It scared a lot of people out, but there are so many projects that are still doing really well and they're still building. So look for the projects that are still building and are still doing what they said they're going to do despite the bear market. If a project hasn't been affected by the bear market and they're still going full speed ahead, then you know that long term they are likely to be a good candidate for success to a degree. But for outside of that, if you're just a regular trader, well, I should say investor looking to get in, then the best thing you can do now is learn. Teach yourself as much as you can. Learn about blockchain. Learn about cryptography, learn about what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin represents, learn about the history of where we are and how we got here, learn about the financial markets in depth, because now is the best time you can teach yourself, because the financial markets are scary and what the governments are able to do with our money, it's terrifying when you really learn the ins and outs of it. So yeah, but bear markets are for learning and buying progressively. bull markets are for enjoying the ride up and making some life-changing money.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you that it really depends on your situation. But if you have the money to invest and you have been like saving money for some time, now is probably a good time to start doing dollar cost averaging. But of course, like, we are not financial advisors. It is definitely your own choice. But also, if you don't have the money, like, spend as much time as possible to learn about the crypto world, or do like Tears, spend time networking and meeting new people, creating new connections, because it's invaluable actually. Like, people say that the network, your network is your net worth. So like, I think that the best would be to actually do all of the things that we just mentioned, but it really depends on your situation. So like, from what you have said so far, it sounds to me that you have been investing quite some time. So I suppose that you have tested different strategies, and probably some of them have worked for you, some of them have dumped you really bad. So is there an investment strategy that has given you the best results so far?
I've done every single type of trading you can imagine. I've been completely degenerate levels of, as they would say, aping into random crap coins, we'll say, for the sake of not swearing on the podcast. So crap coins, I've invested in loads of them and made crazy amounts of money and lost crazy amounts of money just as fast. I've strategically bought over a long period of time and then not sold when I should have, and just watched my money disappear, which again we'll tie into later with seasonal tokens. I've DCA'd in, so to me, what I've learned the most is, you can make a lot of money trading crap coins, and you can literally buy a random crap coin in DeFi, and 3 weeks later things can go crazy, and your $1,000 investment could technically, on paper, be worth $1 million. But they are rare and far between, and no one holds long enough to even see those gains, because people, especially now, and I do the same, if you see a 10x return on your investment within the first week, you're going to think, wow, I'm selling that. So a lot of time it is just, you need to learn which one of your coins is actually a winner, and don't sell too early, hold. But the other time, it's just a case of being aware of the market you're in, because as quickly as it can go up in DeFi, it can go down just as fast, and usually does. So for me, best advice I can give is DCA into something you believe in, like Bitcoin, and then hold. Just hold the line, look back in 5 years, and thank yourself. That's what I think.
Absolutely. Like, researching and putting the amount of time needed to decide what should be your investment strategy is probably the best advice that we can give to anybody else, because like, from what I have heard from different investors, all strategies work, but not all of the strategies will work for you. So that's why, like, everyone should make its own research and decision, and not follow blindly, no matter who is saying this. Like, you should do your research, your thinking, and your mistakes. I think that this is the best way to learn and find the best strategy and almost everything in life. This is what I believe in. Yeah.
One of my close friends in DeFi, who I've actually met in real life as well, I actually consider him like an amazing close friend now at this point. We're on the same sort of wavelength, and he said to me something very smart the other day. He said, because he's been in the space as long as me, if not longer, he said, for the next cycle, right, what you really want to do, after everything's said and done and we've gone through all this craziness, you want to start investing in real people, not like some random crappy influencer on YouTube. People like CZ, CEO of Binance, Richard Hart, releasing Pulse Chain. People who are incredibly smart and have gone through all these cycles longer than we have, and they know what they're talking about, and they're still building, and they're in very, very influential positions of power and influence, but they're not. I know there's a lot of FUD around Binance right now and CZ, but in general, invest in smart people like that who aren't here to make a quick buck on you. They're here for the long term to build something sustainable, and I think you will go far.